It's a pleasure to welcome you to this session at GEC. Today I'm excited to introduce you to Gen Atlas, the world's largest compendium of entrepreneurship policy case studies. In almost every city, region, and country in the world, there are political leaders and groups of policymakers striving to spread opportunity and elevate the fortunes of their economies through entrepreneurship. At Gen, we want to make that mission just a little bit easier. Some parts of the globe have distinguished histories of promoting entrepreneurship, but many others lack the same institutional knowledge and look to others for best practice and effective policymaking. So at Gen, we're passionate about spreading innovative ideas far and wide. That's why today, as policymakers and researchers from all around the world convene in Indianapolis, we've gathered you here to utilize the improved Gen Atlas, which is the largest knowledge portal of its kind with over 420 entries from more than 90 countries, and is drawn from our extensive network of knowledge partners, advisors, policymakers, researchers, and academics. In short, if the mayor of Lyon develops an innovative microgrants program, we want policymakers from Bangkok to Bratislava to be able to quickly digest the key aspects of the policy and start to consider whether it's something that can be replicated in their ecosystem. Gen Atlas is also accompanied by deep dives that explore specific policy areas, analyzing similar policies across several countries, or offering an overview of the support programs available in a particular country or ecosystem. So let's talk about what makes Atlas so useful. Every case study is written objectively and follows a consistent, easily comparable structure. We focus on 6 core questions. What were the aims and objectives of the program? How does the program work? How much does it cost? How was the program implemented? What impact has the program had? And what lessons can be learned from it? This approach, we believe, ensures that no matter where a policy originated from, you can quickly understand its essence and evaluate its relevance to your own context. And we have identified 8 key themes that underpin thriving entrepreneurial ecosystems. So let me highlight the first 4. The first is finance, new forms of capital for startups and scale-ups at the right time. The second is education, where we're looking at policies that embed entrepreneurship in the education and youth system, providing mentoring, training, and support. Thirdly, we look at policies that expand market opportunities for startups, both domestically and internationally. And fourthly, we look at making entrepreneurship an attractive and accessible path for all, especially for underrepresented groups. Fifthly, we look at regulation, removing barriers that hinder innovation and startup success. Sixthly, ecosystem development, building and managing supportive local ecosystems. Seventhly, science, technology, and innovation, looking at policies that leverage scientific and technological advances to drive growth and address societal challenges. Finally, we're interested in innovating the policy process itself, ensuring that founder engagement, data-driven decisions, and clear communication of available support are readily available. Together, these 8 themes provide a comprehensive framework for understanding and comparing entrepreneurship policies across contexts. A critical feature of Gen Atlas is our new impact rating system. Policymakers want to know above all else, what difference did this program make? And historically, that impact data has been inconsistent on Atlas. So to address this, we've introduced a 4-level evidence system. Firstly, we call out programs and policies that have no evidence by stating that clearly in our case studies. But then we have a four-level system. So firstly, looking at basic figures like participation and activity levels. The second level, which looks at outcomes, achievements of specific goals, such as business starts or product launches. Level 3 looks at wider economic impact, such as broader economic indicators like job creation or increased investment. Finally, the top level looks at where policies and programs that can actually demonstrate the proof of impact through academic studies and direct causal impacts. We've also transformed the Atlas search experience, so now you can filter policies by level of intervention, geographic scope, the 8 key themes, over 110 policy mechanisms. We can target specific groups, so SMEs, startups, scale-ups, larger companies. You can filter by program cost, evidence level, country, policy status, or date of introduction. This robust search functionality makes it easier than ever to find the most relevant and impactful policies for your needs. And finally, how to contribute. Gen Atlas is a living resource, and we invite you to help it grow. If you have in-depth knowledge of an innovative policy or program not yet included, please consider applying to become a contributor or suggest it for our long list. Whether you're a policymaker, a researcher, or simply passionate about entrepreneurship, your insights can help unlock creativity and innovation worldwide. And we have several questions that we want you to consider today, both in our workshop tasks, but also when you leave the room. These are, so which local challenges can Atlas help address in your ecosystem? What policy mechanisms or support models are missing from Atlas? What tools or features would make Atlas more useful for you? And how can Atlas better support inclusive, replicable, data-driven entrepreneurship policy globally? And critically, what are your next steps for leveraging Atlas and how might you contribute to its growth? Your feedback is invaluable, and I'm really looking forward to learning from your insights today. So we're now going to move on to the interactive section of this workshop. You'll notice that there is two sheets of paper on each table. The first shows you our first policy theme, which is access to finance, where there's a list of policy mechanisms that may give you some ideas. But what we want you to do is, in 5 minutes, write down as many policies or programs in your local ecosystems that you can think of that we could include on Atlas. So you can do this in groups. Maybe one person takes a pen, and while others give ideas. You'll have 5 minutes. And then we'll move on to the second policy theme. So, good luck. That is 5 minutes up. So please now move to the second key theme, which is education and skills. Just to clarify, the concepts on the front, the categories of types of policies you might think about, we're looking for specifics from your ecosystem. Feel free to use laptops and phones. There's no cheating. And yep, you have 5 more minutes on this theme. Please now move on to the third key theme, which is market access for startups. Thank you. Please move on to key theme 4, which is inclusivity and culture. Thank you. please move on to key theme 5, which is regulation. Thank you. Please now move on to key theme 6, which is ecosystem development. Thank you. please move on to key theme 7, which is science, tech, and innovation. Thank you. Please now move on to the 8th and final key theme, which is about the policy-making process itself. Thank you. And your time is now up. Thank you so much for the brainstorming. I'm very, in the nerdiest way possible, I'm very excited to research all the ideas that you've generated. You may now have noticed that some clip charts have appeared next to your tables. What we'd like you to do now is discuss amongst yourselves how you would be able to use Atlas in your own lines of work. Any ideas you have about how you would use the Atlas Compendium of Entrepreneurship Policies, please jot them down on the clip chart nearest to you. And at the end of the 5 to 7 minutes of your discussion, I would like to go around each table and we'll bring a microphone and one person can talk a little bit about the ideas that you've generated. And additionally, if you have any ideas about how to improve Atlas, you've just been talking about these key themes, maybe you think the key themes are wrong, this is an opportunity to let us know about that as well. So you've got, let's say 7 minutes to discuss. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, we're now running up against the clock, so I'm going to ask you all to be fairly brief in your responses. But Nicola here has a microphone, and we're going to start with this table right next to him. So yeah, please tell us what you think of Atlas, any thoughts, any feedback, just your general reflections.
Sure. Hey all, my name is Nathan Stevens. I'm a senior program officer at the Coleman Foundation. Oh goodness. Great to be in the room with everyone. Welcome everyone to the Midwest. Thanks today for leading the session. Well, some nice to haves that we're thinking about, some sort of a platform is something that is a centralized access portal that gives us information, because when we see this, we get very excited at the inspiration for learning and the opportunity for, not only policymakers, but not only for business support organizations or funders, but the entrepreneurs themselves too. We would love any sort of opportunity that, has pointed connections for businesses to navigate an ecosystem. And when we're thinking of data, we want to be able to understand how are partnerships being measured, and how can we tell that story not only to our government partners, but also to our philanthropic partners as well too, to help invest in something like this. So because these two groups partners, because this ecosystem exists, this one entrepreneur was able to scale for the next 10 years they got funding. One other piece that I did add was around policy advocacy, any sort of opportunity that, all entrepreneurs, business support organizations, philanthropy have an understanding of what's really going on at their local government, their state government, any opportunity that they have to sign a witness slip, which says, which gives an individual to say, I support this legislation, this bill, goes directly to their legislator, so that they have an opportunity to share their voice as well too. So, thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the next table over.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer McGrell, the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Center for the Advancement of Science and Technology. Adding on to what the first table had, I'm going to go to a couple. The first one is the ability to firm up the why when we are looking at implementing new initiatives, and also the look at having actual potential impact metrics to report to our key stakeholders. The other one that we came up with was a possible use for quick vetting of ideas and suggestions when our organizations get those calls from our key stakeholders or our legislators or executive members going, here's a problem, how would you solve it? We could easily and quickly generate ideas and suggestions. The other one is use it to identify the potential financial and resources needed on new initiatives and projects. I think for a lot of us, when we undertake new ideas, it is literally just a best guess scenario. So having true vetted numbers is another way that we could use the platform. And then the other one, building on just the knowledge sharing piece, is it can also be a way for individual groups to actually share their successes, which is something I think those of us in this line of work lack the opportunity to do. So this is one easy way for us to share things that we do best.
Go to the next table along. Thank you.
I don't know what we talked about. I'm Zach Darnell. I'm an investor here locally. Honestly, we were the worst table here because this does not really apply to any of our businesses, but I guess we talked about some things. I don't know what any of these are. So we're going to be the worst table on the planet. If you want feedback on why we're not a good persona for this, we're happy to share that. Is that fair?
That's fair. That's fair.
Do you want to hear it now, or do you want to read it later?
We'll do that later, I think.
I think good choice.
Hi, I'm Kim Betcher, representing Jamaica and Peru at the moment. We talked about policy mapping, so not necessarily replicating what's out there, but having a better understanding of the landscape of what others are looking at and what we might be missing. On lessons learned, perhaps implementation advice would be helpful beyond the evidence. We really think there's a need to look at bad policy or bad applications of policy. It could take many forms. It could be market distortions. It could be supporting the wrong groups, what have you. And finally, we also saw some advocacy applications. And if the dominant policy idea, dominant government idea is missing a lot, then others can kind of say, hey, look, have you considered this and this and this? And that's it.
That's great. And we're always very keen to hear about bad policies as well, because that's incredibly useful. I just want to flag that we are now at time. We have a little bit of time to eat into, but if you do have somewhere that you need to be urgently, we're going to, if you need to get away, that's okay. But I'm keen to hear from the rest of you, so we'll move on to the next table.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan from Futurepreneur Canada. So at our table, we had representatives from the American ecosystem, rural and urban centers alike. We had representatives from university side, including from India. So for us, really, we haven't utilized the Atlas tool quite yet, or we're really hoping to. So far, what we see is that this is really a great way for us to identify what worked in other countries to be implemented locally. We talked a lot about silos in the ecosystem and how to map it in a more consistent, fair way. I would say also just in terms of connecting with different stakeholders at different regional levels within countries can only be beneficial to this tool and ensuring that we can have resources and policies alike represented on the platform. And then a different angle that we had also is to identify how startup owners themselves can find out about resources that are available to them potentially if they want to access the market. So if they look at specific countries and specific resolutions that are available to them as foreign startup owners, for example, I'm going to plug here the startup visa in Canada, for example. But I identify ways that we can create global collaboration via this tool as well.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tom. It's really great to see the Atlas developing along. Amazing conversation at our table where we had Brazil, Australia, United States, Germany, and Gambia. My name's Chad Ronaldo from Australia, chair of the Gen Australia there. A few things: give the problem statement and show the policies that address that, and provide recommendations for their policy change. So, for example, I've got maybe an external entity coming in, taking over all my internet access. How do I protect my local mobile carriers? What would that look like? Who else has done that? After showing the best practice, connect me to the policymakers or the experts. It's all well and good to see it, but can I get a direct connection to them without having to go through the Atlas? Third, integrate with students to use in their research and policy design. And is there some sort of subscription service I can do that? Use it from information to lobby to the local policymakers for best practice. Bit of a name and shame, and create groups or communities of practice around topic areas. So once we know about that, can we actually get other people from around the world to engage with through the Atlas on some communities of practice and research excellence?
Brilliant. Thanks so much. Maybe come around to this table next.
Hello. So we had a really good discussion and good representation here. We have Main Street here, Main Street America here. We have the African Leadership Academy, and then CAFVISA Consulting. So we had a good, and I'm Classy Duncan. I serve as the Vice President for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the Urban League of Louisiana, one of the National Urban League's affiliates based in New Orleans. And so we had a couple of things that other folks mentioned, the idea generation. That's across policy, that's across programs and initiatives within our local communities. And so the tool Atlas could be just a wonderful asset, right? If utilized, we have to use it, right? And so also case studies, which was a big one. We thought looking at whether it's policy changes or new policies, using the database really as a function of, is there somebody out there doing this work? Is there somebody out there that has a good case study where we can basically leverage that as information as we go to our local, whether it's legislators or our leadership, whomever that may be, but really putting in place and making sure that we are leveraging that tool to build, right, the business case. space. Also identifying best practices. So also included in the platform is, this information about accelerator programs across the world. And so if you think about the work that we do in terms of, for us, we're an entrepreneurship support organization. So we're looking at accelerator programs, incubators, just a number of different things that we have in place. And so looking at best practices, I think, is a really huge benefit to using the Atlas program, or database, I should say. Also, resources for our small business clients. So a number of us are working to make sure that our small business clients get access to opportunities outside, for us, for example, outside of the U.S. So what better way to use Atlas than to go into the system, put in a search, for the locale that we're looking for, and connect our small business clients to the resources within that country, or that city, or that state, again, outside of where they currently exist. I think is a good way to leverage the tool. Also, we brought up the leaderboard, right? What are people searching for in Gen Atlas? What are people looking at? What is the thing that is? Because that will give us an indication of what some things that we may be missing, right? What's trending? So getting insight into how it's being used, how it's being leveraged across the network could be pretty insightful. Again, we know we don't know everything. Well, sometimes, But the idea that we can learn from what other people are searching for could be pretty valuable. And then identifying new SMEs, consultants, et cetera. I'm always looking for a new facilitator, a new consultant. Is there information in Gen Atlas that could point me to people that are experts in particular subject areas, or just how to do business again in another city, state, or country? Again, would be very valuable. So these are some of the ways that we came up with to contribute to the conversation.
I think this.
Okay, cool. Final table. My name is Paul Spurzum, and I'm with the Sea Change Initiative at Johns Hopkins University, representing work and research with colleagues in Uganda and Kenya. They're not here at the table, but I'm representing. We also had colleagues from Algeria, and then also from the Midwest, Indiana, Kansas City, and Washington, D.C. A lot of states represented at our table. A few themes to reiterate. Within searching, I feel like to make this most useful, there are a lot of common pain points that policymakers have or local regions have. And so searching for case studies along the lines of like, hey, I have this pain, whether it's entrepreneurs feel isolated and mental health is rough, or I need to figure out credits and incentives in my region. Searching by pain points and or desires could be a helpful way to make this more useful. When case studies include sort of how-to content, that could also be helpful to organize by how to do something so people aren't recreating the wheel everywhere. There's some really good best practices out there that could be searched by. And then lastly, we love the evidence levels. I think having a way to include the rigor of evidence, but then also have some inspiration for what, if you're going to do a local policy or a new program, some inspiration for what indicators you could collect would also be really helpful, so we're no longer just guessing, or what did somebody say? Given their best guess. We can be a little bit more experimental, scientific. That's my academic pitch here.
That's great. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you for contributing these ideas. It's going to vastly improve the service, and we hope you can all use it in effective ways. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your GEC.